Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today. I am working through Equipped by Jesus from Bythewell4God. I'm going to be journaling day 5 here in my Traveler's Notebook. I have a process video that I will link below for how I set up this journal. And then I'm also going to be using this tag that I created yesterday, and I'm kind of holding up here so you can see. I have a process video for that as well. I can link that down below. But on the back side of this, there's a ton of alcohol ink. I made a huge mess when I was creating this tag, so I need to cover that up. And I know I want to use this tag to take a lot of notes. And so I wanted something where it would make it easier to do that. And this ledger paper is perfect for that. This is some like vintage ledger paper, and that was gifted to me, and it's just beautiful. So I decided to cover the back of that tag, and that just covers up all of the alcohol ink. And then I went through and I went through the paper that coordinates with the kit, and I picked out a couple of these pages that have like this brick wall look to them. I have a lot of notes and stuff for today. There's a lot of scriptures and stuff to look up and everything. So I knew that I needed a kind of simpler, quicker background. So I just used the pattern paper to do that. So at this point, I'm pulling out a few items that I think are going to coordinate with this tag. So I pulled out one of the warrior girls, and then a few of the flower arrangements. And then of course I have the flashcard up there that I will use as well. And then I have this label that I created on my label maker that says righteousness, and I want to put this in that bottom part of that tag where that label section is. So I'm just trimming it down so that it will fit in there, and it just barely fits. And then I'm just pushing it down really well because that area is so textured right there. I just want to make sure that it's good and stuck down. And at this point, I was going to use some of this blue pattern paper from the pack also, and it's just, this tag is just really not the right color. And I could have gotten out my alcohol inks and kind of reworked all of that, but I decided to just go a different way. And so what I'm going to do is apply some acrylic paint over the top of this. So I am pulling out a light body metallic acrylic paint. It's by Jacquard. It's called Lumiere, and it's in the color pewter. And I'm just going to kind of take this and brush this over the top of this whole tag, and that is just going to kind of mute down some of that blue, and it ends up bringing it more into the right shade and brings out more of the silver that I was wanting. So I'm just going through here and applying this all over, just being careful not to go over the label that I just stuck down. And then I'm going to take a baby wipe and kind of pull some of that back off so that you still can see some of the blue through there. Again, it's kind of a back and forth process. I ended up taking a little bit off, that more than I wanted to, so I'm just adding some more on there. And it's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but this is a metallic acrylic paint, so it's still going to have that foil-like finish when it dries and everything. So I got that. I feel like this color just matches a little bit better with everything. So you can see I'm kind of holding it up there to make sure. So sorry. And so I just set that off to the side to dry, and now I'm going to try and figure out what I want to do with the rest of these pieces. So I have this little warrior girl here, and I just want to anchor her down a little bit. So I'm using one of the pattern papers, and I just tore some strips, and I glued those down across the bottom. At this point, I still think that she's going to be over here on the left. I end up changing that here. I just felt like it was off balance somehow, and kind of with her facing the opposite way. I don't know. So I ended up putting the tag here on this left side, and it's going to be a tip in, and like I said, it's going to hold all of my notes and stuff. So I tore the corner a little bit, so I'm just using my Barely Arts glue to fix that. And then I got some of that that silver paint on the back of here. I wasn't even thinking about it, and so I need to cover that up. So I'm going to use one of these die cut pieces from the kit, and I just glued it down right over that area. And then I'm using a sticker, you can get the digitals, and I print those out on clear sticker paper, and so I'm just using one of those down in the bottom corner to kind of cover up where I had to re-glue that corner, and no one will ever know. So Now I'm just kind of repositioning all of my pieces, trying to figure out how I'm going to get everything on here that I want to do. So I pulled out one of these pockets because I know I'm going to have some more notes than what I have space for currently. So I thought originally that I would kind of tuck this this little envelope underneath the tag, just kind of tuck it over there on the left side. In the end, I end up changing that too. So I went ahead and just pulled out a few of the journaling cards. And before I do anything else, I'm just going to take all these and write out all my notes and stuff so I can see exactly what I have to do to deal with. So you can see I've done that over on the left, pulled out all of those, wrote all my notes out and everything. So I have tags and journaling spots and all kinds of things. And now I have this envelope that I just want to dress up a little bit. I'm going to glue that little girl on there. But I decided to pull out the Jesus is the Armor stamp set that you could get that coordinated with the kit. And I pulled out the one that coordinates with this day about putting on the breastplate of righteousness. And so I'm just stamping that. I used an archival ink in a gray, I think it was hickory smoke, to stamp that. I didn't want it to be really in your face. I just kind of wanted it subtle on there. And but also just to give a little bit more interest to that that spot. So now comes a point where I need to make my tag into a tip-in. So I always keep my sticker paper, and I happen to have some that was like it only printed on half of the page. So I kept that and I trimmed it down, and I'm just adhering this over here on the left side, and I'm kind of being really careful at this point. I'm just getting it onto the tag. Excuse me, so sorry. And then I am going to just kind of burnish it down. I'm going to cut off the excess here, but then I'm going to go through it with my bone folder and just make sure this is burnished down really well. This tag is pretty thick, and so I need to make sure that it's going to be good and stuck down. So I'm going over the tag itself and onto the paper, and then I'm opening it up. And whenever I do a tip-in like this, I always make sure, whether I'm using washi tape or sticker paper, that I do it on both sides. It just makes for a more secure tip-in. So I have it on the one side, and then I open it up and do it on the inside as well, just to make sure everything is good and stuck down. And now I'm going to put some of these other journaling spots here on this left side. So I have this journaling card where I wrote out a couple of scriptures, and I'm just going to glue that down. And then I have one of the bingo cards, and this was a free gift in the little goodie bag, and so I used that to write some notes as well. And I'm doing that same thing, just creating a tip-in with that clear sticker paper, both on the top and on the underneath side. And then I'm going to glue everything over here on the right side. So I have a tag that I created. I actually took a tag and covered it in that ledger paper also so that it would coordinate, and wrote out my scriptures on there, and I stuck it in this little envelope. And now I have glued that down. I'm making this flashcard actually into a pocket so that I can tuck the scripture that goes with that flashcard in behind there. And I trimmed down this floral piece, and then it's hanging off the edge, and I'll just trim that down eventually. You can see all my notes here. And then I'm going to glue down this little warrior girl here over on the right side. And for this, I'm using that same liquid Barely Arts precision glue. And I'm going to glue her down. And then off camera, I took some fabric from one of the bow clips, and I just trimmed it down, and I used it for both of those tags, just so they have a little bit more interest, a little bit like a little pull spot. I don't really like to leave my tags without something in the top if I can help it. So here I'm just trimming down the rest of that floral that was kind of sticking off the edge, and I'm just adding a little bit of ink to the edge just so it's not such a stark contrast there. And that's everything. So these are my little tuck spots here. So if you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. That just helps other people find my channel. And subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye-bye.